Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations, where we generally look at one or another lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily office lectionary. And today I thought we'd take a look at the lesson from the 18th chapter of the book Genesis. And this is a lesson that I remember hearing as a child and it really made a deep impression on me. So I'll talk a little bit about that when we get done with the reading. And the Lord said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence and went towards Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before the Lord. And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked, that it be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. And Abram answered and said, behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, which am but dust and ashes. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 persons. Wilt thou destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, if I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. And he spake unto him yet again, and said, peradventure there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure there shall be 30 found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord. Peradventure there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak yet but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And the Lord went his way as soon as he had left communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place. Okay, so interesting lesson. First of all, in some ways, I'd like to give the advice to people that we don't bargain with God, right? In our prayers, we don't say, God, if you do this, I'll do that. And it sure does feel like Abraham is actually bargaining in this particular story, but he's really appealing to God's mercy and to his righteousness, as well as, of course, to his justice. The sins of Sodom and Gomorrah were great, and the consequence of that was destruction, that the sin destroys in the big picture, right? The consequence of sin is death. And we're talking about eternal death, of course, as it is in the epistles. But here we have the actual God is about to destroy this city because it is so incredibly wicked. And Abram says, wait a second, would you really destroy righteous people along with the good people? And he picks the number 50, right? It's a city of thousands of people. Surely 50 of them are not wicked. And so he begins to do this negotiation with God. And I always kind of spoke to my heart as a youngster, the idea that God would spare these people as they kind of work their way down. How about just for this? Well, how about for this? You know, kind of the way I negotiate with my parents. Well, if I clean my room, well, if I at least do this in my room, then can I do that, right? And again, I don't encourage you to plead with God and make deals with God, although occasionally it does seem like that's the way it has happened. That's not the healthy spiritual life approach that we take. We throw ourselves at the mercy of God, and we ask him for our needs. We inform him of our needs, but we don't say, if you do this, I'll do that. That's not really the healthy way for us to pray. Occasionally it does work out, but there it is. But the healthier way, of course, is to say, Lord, this is my need. You know what I need, and thy will be done. And then we accept God's consequence, right? And how he chooses what's best for us. But of course, we do know that the result of this particular aspect, this particular incident, is that God doesn't even find 10 righteous people in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, and they're destroyed. And so on one hand, I like to take out of this the fact that if we continue to try to be righteous and we try to be a righteous people, God will spare those around us as well, right? If we can be found righteous, and righteous only through the grace of God, only by his grace and his merits are we found righteous. but hopefully we can help to keep others from being destroyed as well. God, there are at least 10 of us here at St. John's, I hope, that are at least striving for righteousness. But on the same hand, we also know that a God of mercy is also a God of justice. And so we do have to be aware of that in our lives. We have to be aware of the fact that ultimately sin, the consequence of sin, is eternal death unless we repent and return to the Lord. So it's important. These things just, they jump at me. And of course, they're a nice reminder both of God's mercy and the importance of us staying on the beam and trying to serve the living God. So today's Tuesday, Shrove Tuesday, as it's known. For others, it's known as Fat Tuesday, and people are out there eating their ponchkis today. Jelly-filled lard feast of madness before we start our Lenten fast tomorrow. But today, 12:15 Holy Communion here at St. John's Church, and tomorrow, Ash Wednesday, we start off our Lent. And I hope that your Tuesday is a day that is full of blessings.